Okay, I'm gonna do this video on um where I started, from, how I got into trucking, and so on like that. I'll just start from my military experience. I was in the military for about 8 years, combat engineer. Been down range twice. Um, I did that. I was 8 years. Got out in 2005. 2005, I got out. I had the only job I could get was working at a Walmart, and the job I had at Walmart was was like custodian or whatever. Well, at first I started with stalker. I just did it because I needed a job. I needed to make, pay the bills. So I was a night stalker. I got paid like 15 cents more than everybody else. So basically, I was making $5 an hour or something. I don't remember what it was. It was ridiculous. But I injured my back when I was in the military, so that's why I got out. I got out on disability. Um, so that lasted maybe 2 days. So 2 days, I went back to the guy and told him, I can't do this. I'm gonna have to quit because I can't do it. And so they put me on, doing the custodial work. So I mopped the floors, swept the floors, and cleaned the bathrooms. The bathrooms were the nastiest thing I've probably done to date. Was the nastiest thing I've ever done. Some of these women bathrooms are disgusting. Y'all need to get together. But the men's was nasty too. But some of y'all got some of the nastiest stuff I've ever seen in my life. But so I did that. I went to school for business. I was going to school for business. I had to leave. I left that job. I really wasn't going nowhere near. I left that. Went to school for business. While I was in school for business, I was putting an application. I got hired on. Got a call from Cubic. It's a big company over there in Louisiana. Riding four wheelers around in the forest and setting up pyrotechnics to help simulate before the soldiers go back down range. So we was doing that. That was a good job. That was a real good job, but I took it for granted. I got fired from that. I took it for granted. Yeah, so really, I didn't really get fired. One day I didn't go out on time, but the guy said, go home for this rotation because we have rotations for when the soldiers come in. And I, came back or whatever. He was like, well, I don't know what we're gonna do yet. We don't know what we're gonna do yet. So that lasted for like a week. So I was just like, well, if you don't know what you're gonna do after a week, I might as well just move on. So I moved on or whatever. I left that. Right when I was leaving that, I still put in. I put in. The stuff for the government they would help either with my school or with getting me a secondary education or with some other stuff. And they so happened to have trucking on there, so I just marked it because my father's a trucker. He's been trucking for 36 years or something like that. And my mother's a truck driver. My aunt was a truck driver. They were. I don't know if any of them. Well, I know my mom and dad don't do it anymore. They retired, but I don't know if my aunt does it right now. But so I did that, and just so happened out of the blue, it was almost a year later. Out of the blue, I get a call saying, yeah, we have a spot for you to come down and do this trucking stuff, get your CDL or whatever. So I'm like, let's do it. But at the time, I moved from from Leesville to DeRidder, and it was two different counties, well, parishes, two different parishes, and they was like, well, we can't do nothing for you. So I called the one in DeRidder, which was something parish, not Vernon, whatever parish it was, but called the one in DeRidder, and they just so happened to have the same thing going on, and they got me in, got my CDL, they paid for everything, got all that done. They paid for everything, gave me money for school, for food, and put me up in their, the little barracks type deal, which was just, like 3-4 beds in there in the room. Did that, came on over to a trucking company. Started with my first trucking company. Just did the training there, and then moved on to Swift. And with Swift, I stayed there for about 2 years. I did over the road, and I did home daily. Swift was a real good company. I just got tired of the home daily. I needed a break. It was real draining because I was on the graveyard shift. I was on the graveyard shift doing from, I think, about 9:30 to 10 or whatever at night till 5 in the morning, something like that. And it was no, it wasn't deliver here, there. It was the same route every night. It was going to West Virginia every night, from Eaton to West Virginia every night. So it got repetitive, and I left that. Then went over to US Express, drove there for about 12 months. By then I was saying there's, it took me a while, but I was saying like there's got to be more money out here. I'm driving out here for pennies, basically. And I tried to get on with them, with the owner op, and I was going to do training, but for some reason nobody was giving me a call back. I don't know what was going on, so I said forget it. And then I went on to another company, and it was bad. I went up to another company and got a truck. It was a 2011 Kentworth. Paid $16,000 out of just about for maintenance, and made 13. So bad deal. And before I even left that, I got on with Schneider. Now, I put in an application for Schneider way before I got hired on, but I had a suspension that I didn't even know about because I was living in Louisiana, but I was suspended in Ohio. I don't know how that even took place, but I got my CDL and everything, and I come here and they said it's been suspended since 2003, and I was like, what? So got that taken care of. That lasted for I had to wait 3 years to get on with Schneider. So in March or something like that, I reapplied, got hired on, got with Schneider Finance, said I'm only going to do owner operator, because when I was at the other company with the trucks, like, even though it was a bad truck, I seen the money that you can make as an owner operator. And so they have choice boards at Schneider, which I get to pick my loads and be home a little bit more often if I can. So I did that, and that's where I am today. And it was probably the best choice so far that I've made. We're working on getting our own trucks and starting our own business, but we might just go ahead and I'm probably going to buy my trucks through this company. And my brother, I don't know exactly what he's going to do yet. He might come over here with his truck. He's in the process of buying his truck. So we'll do that. But that's just a little bit of background.